In Miami, where the sun shines brighter on imported cars than on people's hearts. Lucas was about to discover that Camila's love had a price, and he was not willing to pay it. The restaurant Sabor Cubano in South Beach was a walking contradiction. Simple rustic wooden tables set against patrons wearing watches that cost more than many people's college education. Lucas Mendez watched as Camila Vanderbilt adjusted the white silk dress that had cost $2,000, her perfect fingers nervously toying with the gold bracelet he had given her the month before. The contrast bordered on poetic, the restaurant's honest simplicity against the calculated artificiality of the woman beside him. "You look incredible," he said, his voice carrying a sincere warmth that felt out of place in a room thick with superficiality. Camila smiled, but her eyes, the color of the Caribbean and as cold as stainless steel kitchen counters, scanned the room with the precision of a luxury real estate appraiser. "This place is interesting. It is not Nobu, but it has its charm. A bit ethnic, do you not think?" Lucas felt the first twinge of discomfort in his solar plexus. His mind, trained by business to detect patterns and calculate risk, was already processing the red flags that had piled up over the past 6 months. The neuroscience of romantic attachment is a complicated dance between the reward system and survival mechanisms. When dopamine binds itself more to social status than to genuine emotional connection, a relationship stops being a partnership and becomes a transaction. He watched Camila set her Chanel bag on the seat beside her, not on the table, as if she were shielding it from contamination by the modest surroundings. Her movements were studied, choreographed for an invisible audience that watched her even when there were no cameras. "I chose this place because it means something to me," Lucas said, tracing the wood grain with his fingertips. "My parents used to come here when they arrived from Brazil. It was all they could afford back then." Camila made a discreet face. "How cute. Nostalgia for poverty. But darling, we could be at Carbone. I have a reservation for tomorrow, if you like." Her choice of words was revealing. "We could be, not we will be." The conditional made her presence here feel temporary, dependent on improved circumstances. Lucas felt the weight of the decision he had made, the test he had planned meticulously over the past weeks, consulting not only his gut but also what behavioral psychology says about human nature under pressure. He drew a slow breath, tasting Miami's salty air blended with Cuban coffee and fried garlic. "Camila, I need to tell you something important. Something I have been putting off for a few weeks." She stopped inspecting her flawless nails and fixed her eyes on him, her interest truly awakened for the first time since they had arrived. "What is it, love? Problems at work?" Lucas paused strategically, watching her. Neuroscience teaches that the first microexpressions after a difficult revelation are the most telling, automatic limbic responses before the prefrontal cortex can manufacture a socially acceptable reaction. "The business is not going as we hoped," he began, choosing his words with care. "Ecotech is going through significant difficulties. Very significant, in fact." Camila's expression changed instantly. The relaxed smile vanished, replaced by a mask of concern that never reached her eyes. Her body stiffened, her shoulders lifting almost imperceptibly, a primary defense response. "Difficulties," she repeated, as if the word tasted bitter. "What kind of difficulties? Did you not tell me you closed that $5 million investment round?" Lucas watched her fingers tighten around the water glass until her knuckles went white. "The round did not go as planned. the investors pulled back at the last minute. The sustainable tech market is complicated at the moment. He saw her eyes compute rapidly, processing the financial implications before the emotional ones. It was exactly the pattern his studies on decision-making under uncertainty had predicted. When the amygdala detects a threat to status or financial security, it seizes control of the process and suppresses emotional or moral considerations. "But you have a backup, right?" she pressed, her voice a touch higher than usual. "Your apartment in Brickell, the investments, you did not put everything into the company, did you?" A mix of sadness and vindication washed over Lucas. The question was not about his emotional state, not about the stress he must be feeling, not about how they could face this together. It was about assets, escape routes, capital preservation. "I made some risky decisions," he admitted, keeping his tone calibrated between genuine worry and controlled resolve. "I invested a lot of my personal capital into the expansion. And now, well, things are tighter than I would like." Camila looked around the restaurant as if seeing it for the first time, and not liking what she saw. Her expression made it clear she considered the place beneath her standard, a rung on the social ladder she would not descend. "How tight?" she asked, her voice stripped of the affectionate tone from moments ago. "Are we talking temporary adjustments, or a more permanent change in lifestyle?" Lucas felt his heart speed up, not from anxiety but from the painful clarity of the moment. He was witnessing in real time what studies on relationships and finances call the abandonment threshold, the point where the perceived cost of staying outweighs the perceived benefits. "It might be permanent," he said softly. "At least for a while. We may need to rethink a few things. The apartment might have to go. The car too." Then he saw it, the near-invisible shift in her eyes, the precise moment when the evaluation ended and the decision clicked into place. It was like watching an algorithm run its code: input, financial risk; output, exit strategy. Right then, a young server approached. Sofia Ramirez, in a simple but immaculate uniform, wore a genuine smile that seemed to brighten the restaurant's dim corner. "Welcome to Sabor Cubano," she said, her melodic voice cutting the tension at the table. "May I start you with our specials? We have a mojito with a twist of locally picked mint." Camila did not look at her. "Sparkling water. Imported. In the menu, please." Sofia noted it with professional calm that hid the sharp perception of someone who had waited tables for years. "Of course, ma'am. And for you, sir?" Lucas met her gaze, warm brown, intelligent, curious. "I will try the special mojito." "Thank you." As Sofia moved away, Camila released an exasperated sigh. "Lucas, really? Cocktails in a place like this? You do not even know where the ice comes from." He watched Sofia serve another table, her natural kindness, the way she leaned in to hear an elderly patron, the patience with which she explained dishes to a confused tourist. The contrast with Camila's calculated chill could not have been starker. "We need to talk about what this means for us," Camila said, her tone now completely businesslike. "I cannot, well, you understand. My career, my image, everything depends on certain standards." A deep sadness moved through Lucas, along with relief. The test was working exactly as predicted. Neuroscience had called it again: under financial pressure, masks fall and true values emerge. And he was about to discover that Camila's true value was exactly zero. as the special mojito reached the table, bringing the sweet scent of fresh mint. Camila was about to prove that her love had an expiration date, and it was set for the exact moment Lucas's bank balance stopped impressing her. Sophia returned with the drinks, moving with the easy grace of a dancer following a familiar routine. She set the special mojito in front of Lucas, the glass filled with crushed ice, fresh mint pressed at the bottom, the dark rum bleeding into lime juice like liquid Cuban poetry. "For you, sir," she said with a smile that felt genuine, not rehearsed. "And for you." Perrier with a slice of lemon. Camila took the glass without a thank you, her slim fingers holding the crystal as if it carried contamination. "The menu, please. We are in a hurry." Sophia handed over the menus, simple paper sheets listing dishes with Spanish names and descriptions that spoke of tradition, not price. "Our specials today are ropa vieja and lechon asado. Both come with rice, beans, and sweet plantains. I will have a Caesar salad," Camila said without looking at the menu. "No anchovies. And the grilled chicken. No skin, no oil, no strong seasonings." Sophia wrote it down with patient professionalism. "Of course, ma'am. And for you, sir?" Lucas glanced at Camila, then at Sophia. "I will try the lechon asado. And bring an order of yuca fries for us to share." Camila grimaced. "Lucas, darling, you know I do not eat fried food. And yuca? Really?" As Sophia slipped away, Lucas felt the final decision drawing close. He knew Camila well enough to know she had already run the mental math, the emotional cost-benefit of staying with a man in financial trouble versus the risk of losing the lifestyle she considered non-negotiable. "Camila," he began, his voice softer now. "We need to talk seriously about our future. About what these difficulties mean for us." She set her glass down with a clink louder than necessary. "What it means? Lucas? It means you deceived me. You built a facade, a fantasy. And now you expect me to sink with you into this?" She made a sweeping gesture that took in the entire restaurant. Lucas noticed other patrons sensing the tension. An elderly couple at the next table exchanged worried looks. Two businessmen in expensive suits dropped their voices, eyes drifting toward the unfolding scene. "I did not deceive you, Camila. Things changed. It happens in business. What matters is how we face challenges together." She laughed, a dry, humorless sound. "Together? Lucas, do you really think I will trade my apartment in Bal Harbour, my vacations in St. Bart's, my life, for challenges? For difficulties?" Her volume climbed, and Lucas realized she was no longer trying to hide the conversation. In fact, she seemed to want an audience, to have witnesses to her tough decision, her strength in refusing to be dragged down. "So that is all it is?" he asked, deliberately calm. "Apartments and vacations? That is what our relationship means to you?" Camila leaned forward, her blue eyes now as cold as the ice in her glass. "Let us be adults, Lucas. Relationships are partnerships. I bring my image, my networking, my social value. You should bring financial stability." That was the arrangement. The word arrangement struck the table like a blow. Lucas felt a deep sadness, and a scientific validation. She was literally describing their relationship in the language of game theory, where each partner brings resources to the table and expects proportional returns. "And if I can no longer fulfill my side of the arrangement?" he asked, keeping his tone neutral. She looked at him as if he had stated the obvious. "Then the arrangement ends. It is that simple. I do not date the broke." "Lucas, it is not personal, it is pragmatic." The statement was so natural, so sure, that even nearby diners seemed stunned. The elderly couple paused mid-bite, forks suspended. The businessmen traded looks of disbelief. At that moment, as if cued by a cosmic screenwriter, the restaurant door opened and Marcos walked in, former National Football League player, now an investor living mostly off fame and family money. He wore a pristine white suit that cost more than the restaurant's furniture, and his gaze swept the room until it landed on Camila. "Speaking of pragmatism," Camila whispered, a triumphant smile lifting her lips, "it seems my plan B just arrived." Lucas watched Marcos approach with the confident stride of an athlete, a posture that broadcast winner. Social neuroscience explains this well. In uncertain moments, we gravitate to figures who represent stability and status, even if only on the surface. "Camila, darling," Marcos said, ignoring Lucas entirely. "I was passing by and saw you through the window. What a happy coincidence." Camila stood, her smile radiant and completely false. "Marcos. Perfect timing. We were just finishing our lunch." She turned to Lucas, her expression transformed from calculated concern to open disdain. "Lucas, I believe I do not need to spell it out. You understand how things work. I hope that, well, I hope you manage to solve your situations." She grabbed her Chanel bag, adjusted her dress, and stepped toward Marcos. "Let us go, dear. Carbone is waiting. I have a reservation for two." Marcos offered his arm with a condescending smile toward Lucas. "Good luck, man. The market is rough." And then they left, abandoning Lucas alone at the table with half a mojito and a fully public humiliation. The silence that followed said more than words. Everyone in the restaurant had witnessed it, the cruel breakup, the immediate swap for someone better, the complete absence of empathy or loyalty. Sophia, who had watched from a distance, approached with a compassionate expression. "Sir, may I bring you anything else? Perhaps a Cuban coffee? It is strong. It helps to process things." Lucas looked at her, at those brown eyes full of genuine concern, and felt something unexpected, not anger, not shame, but a deep and steady certainty. He had received the answer he came for. The test was complete. And the results were clearer and more painful than he had imagined. Now it was time for the countermove. While Camila traded love for status at a five-star restaurant a few blocks away, Lucas discovered that real wealth had never been in his bank account, but in the kindness of a server who did not even know his name. The silence at Lucas's table was so dense it seemed to have texture. He could feel the discreet glances of other patrons, some pitying, some morbidly curious, some recognizing they had witnessed something deeply wrong. His hands stayed steady around the mojito glass, fingers tracing the beads of condensation that slid like silent tears. Sophia returned with the Cuban coffee she had offered, a small porcelain cup holding a dark, aromatic liquid that promised clarity of mind. "Here you are, sir. On the house." She set it down with a smooth motion, her eyes showing not pity but a quiet understanding more comforting than any words. "Thank you," Lucas said, his voice softer than he expected. "And for everything." She smiled, a small, genuine smile that made gentle lines at the corners of her eyes. Sometimes people show who they really are at the hardest moments. It is a blessing in disguise, even if it does not feel like one right away. Lucas sipped the coffee, strong, sweet, reviving. The heat seemed to clear the emotional fog from his mind. He watched Sophia as she worked, her natural grace, the way she leaned in to listen to a hard-of-hearing elder, the patience with which she explained ingredients to a mother worried about her child's allergies. As he watched, something shifted inside him. Anger and humiliation began to turn into something else. Clarity. Neuroscience has a name for it. As the parasympathetic system takes over after stress, the brain enters a deeper processing state, allowing insights that are impossible at the emotional peak. He lifted his phone discreetly, not the latest iPhone Camila always insisted he own, but a simple, reliable smartphone. With a few quick taps, he texted Carlos, his longtime driver and security chief. "I need you to pick me up. Bring the car. And bring the Brickell apartment documents too." The reply came almost instantly. "I will be there in 15 minutes, boss." "Everything all right?" Lucas smiled to himself. Better than ever. Just confirming a few suspicions. He put the phone away and watched Sophia again as she helped the family with small children, arranging high chairs with the efficiency born of years on her feet. There was a dignity in her work that brutally contrasted with the superficiality he had just endured. When she returned to offer more coffee, Lucas did something he had not planned. "Would you sit for a moment?" he asked, indicating the empty chair where Camila had been minutes earlier. "If you can, of course." Sophia seemed surprised, but not uncomfortable. "Just for a moment. The lunch rush is ending." She sat, hands resting in her lap, posture relaxed yet professional. "Have you worked here long?" Lucas asked, genuinely curious. 3 years, she said. "While I finish my psychology degree at the University of Miami. I want to open a community center one day, to help immigrant families like mine." Lucas felt something move within him, admiration? Respect? Something deeper. "Your parents are immigrants?" "Mexican," she said with pride. "They arrived with one suitcase and a lot of dreams. My father still works construction. My mother cleans houses. They taught me that honest work is never shameful, no matter what you do." The simplicity of it, the quiet conviction behind her words, it was everything Lucas truly valued, everything his Brazilian family had taught him before money and success complicated the picture. "Do you believe a person's character matters more than a bank account?" he asked, knowing the question was loaded but wanting her answer. Sophia thought for a moment, her eyes serious. "Money comes and goes, sir. Character is who you are when no one is watching. And when things get hard." My parents lost everything twice, first when they immigrated, then during the 2008 crisis. But they never lost their dignity. That is what matters. In that moment, Lucas understood something essential about himself. He had grown so used to Camila's world, a world of appearances, of transactions, of shallow values, that he had almost forgotten his roots. The roots that made him build a sustainable technology company, not a financial speculation machine. The roots that taught him to value real people, not carefully curated personas. "Thank you, Sophia," he said, his voice carrying a sincerity she seemed to sense. "You have no idea how much this conversation means to me." She stood with a knowing smile. Sometimes the right people walk into our lives at the right time, even if we do not know why. As she went back to work, Lucas picked up his phone again. This time he made a call. "Gabriel? It is Lucas." "Yes, the owner. I need you to set something up for me." On the other end, the restaurant's owner listened carefully. "Of course, boss. Anything you need." The lady, she left with that football player. She looked very pleased with herself. Lucas smiled. She always does. But today she will learn a lesson about what really matters. He hung up and looked out the window. Outside on South Beach, he could see the reflection of Carbone, the place where Camila and Marcos were probably celebrating their timely escape. He almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Because in about 10 minutes, Camila Vanderbilt would discover she had made the most expensive mistake of her life, not financially, but morally. And some things, once lost, never come back. The Cuban coffee had done its work. Clarity had arrived. And Lucas Mendez was ready to show Miami, and himself, that true worth had never been about what he owned, but about who he was. And who he was, he now realized, was worth far more than any bank balance could measure. While Camila savored her $500 lunch believing she had escaped a financial shipwreck, she did not know the true vessel, luxurious, imposing, and entirely out of her reach, was about to glide past, leaving her stranded in the shallows of her own arrogance. The 15 minutes after Camila left were the clearest of Lucas's life. While he finished quiet arrangements over the phone, he watched Sophia work with growing admiration. There was genuine beauty in her efficiency, a grace in movements born not for cameras but from practice and respect for the job. Gabriel, the owner, approached discreetly. "All set, boss," he murmured, seasoned eyes gleaming with contained anticipation. "The car is on its way, and I tweaked the sound system. In case you want to make an announcement." Lucas smiled. Gabriel knew his story. The young man who had once counted coins to pay for a simple meal here was the same man who now owned the place. "Thank you, Gabriel. But I think actions will speak louder than words today." Then the sound arrived, first a low hum, then a silken growl that made several diners turn to the window. A black Rolls-Royce Phantom, so long it seemed to bend physics, glided to a stop outside. Its doors opened and Carlos stepped out, not in the driver's uniform Lucas usually asked him to wear, but in a bespoke suit that cost more than many customers' cars. Carlos's entrance was a show of its own. Nearly 2 meters tall, with an upright bearing and a suit that shouted senior executive, he froze every conversation. He walked straight to Lucas's table and gave a small bow, not subservient, but respectful, colleague to colleague. "Mr. Mendez," he said, his voice carrying naturally across the suddenly quiet room. "The car is ready. And I brought the documents you requested, the ones for the Brickell building acquisition and for Ecotech's new investment round." Lucas rose, feeling every gaze in the room on him. "Thank you, Carlos. And thank you for dressing so appropriately." Carlos's smile was discreet. I thought the occasion deserved it. By the way, Ms. Vanderbilt and her companion are at Carbone. The table by the window. They seem to be enjoying themselves. Lucas nodded, determination lighting his eyes. He turned to Sophia, who watched the scene with open perplexity. Sophia, he said, his voice now carrying for all to hear. I would like to invite you to join me. I am on my way to inspect a new real estate project I just acquired in Brickell. I could use the company of someone with grounded perspectives on community. Sophia was momentarily speechless. Sir, I have my shift. Gabriel intervened at once. Go, Sophia. I can cover your tables. I believe this is one of those opportunities that do not repeat themselves. She looked from Lucas to the gleaming rolls outside, then back to Lucas. Her eyes showed not the greed Lucas had come to expect, but genuine curiosity tinged with caution. Why me? She asked, soft but steady. Lucas smiled, a true smile, unlike any he had managed in months. Because you are the only person in this restaurant, perhaps in all of Miami, who treated me like a person, not a wallet. And because I believe you have valuable insights about what truly matters to the communities this project intends to serve. At that exact moment, as if fate kept time, the door swung open and Camila walked in, followed by a visibly irritated Marcos. I forgot my wallet, Camila announced, her voice slicing the charged air. She stopped short at the sight of Lucas standing with Carlos at his side, and the impossibly luxurious Rolls-Royce gleaming outside. Her eyes swept the scene, processing the contradictions. Lucas, in a simple suit, now wrapped in an aura of unquestionable authority. Carlos, whom she always assumed was just the driver, now wearing a suit worth more than her entire wardrobe. The car, one she had never seen before, yet clearly worth more than Marcos's apartment. Lucas, she said, uncertainty fraying her voice. What is happening here? Carlos answered, his voice carrying like a public announcement. Mr. Mendez was simply finalizing a few business details before inspecting his new real estate acquisition. The Ocean One building in Brickell. $50 million. A bargain, really. The room went dead silent. You could hear ice cubes clink at distant tables. Camila looked as if lightning had struck her. The color drained from her face, her lips forming a silent O of shock. Ocean One, she stammered. But, you said, difficulties. Lucas faced her at last, his eyes now cold as steel. I said I was going through difficulties. Camila. And it was true. The difficulty was learning whether you loved me for who I am or for what I own. Today you gave me the clearest possible answer. He took the documents from Carlos and set them on the table. Ecotech's new investment round? $50 million. Closed last week. The apartment in Brickell? I am not losing it. I am buying the entire building. Camila looked ready to faint. Marcos, realizing he had misread who the big fish truly was, began edging toward the door. You tested me? Camila whispered, her voice breaking under the weight of it. I tested your character. Lucas corrected gently. And learned its exact value, 0. He turned to Sophia, who seemed to understand more with every passing second. Sophia, my invitation stands. Will you see the project with me? I need someone with real values to help design the community spaces." Sophia looked at Camila, now a pathetic figure of unmasked arrogance, then back to Lucas. Her eyes showed not triumph, but deep sadness for the whole scene. "Yes," she said at last, her voice firm. "I think I can help. And I think some people need to learn that true luxury is not in what you drive, but in who you are while you drive it." As Lucas offered his arm and they walked out under the stunned gaze of every patron, leaving Camila alone with the consequences of her choices, one truth crystallized in the room. In the economy of character, some people are billionaires, and others are broke. And Camila Vanderbilt had just discovered she was bankrupt. As the Rolls-Royce slipped down the A1 carrying Lucas and Sophia toward a future no one in the restaurant could have predicted, Camila learned that the most painful humiliation is not public but private, the silent reckoning with the empty person she had become. Lucas and Sophia's exit landed like the perfect curtain close. The glass door side shut behind them, sealing the restaurant off from the drama unfolding outside. For a breathless instant, no one inside Sabor Cubano spoke or moved, the silence so complete you could hear the distant hum of traffic on Collins Avenue. Inside the Rolls-Royce, the world shifted. The cabin was a cocoon of quiet luxury, leather seats that seemed to hold you, soundproofed windows that softened the city's chaos, and the faint scent of new leather and fine wood. Sophia looked around wide-eyed, not with the greed Lucas knew too well, but with the curiosity of a scientist examining a rare specimen. "It is different," she said at last, her soft voice echoing lightly in the treated space. Lucas smiled. "It is a car. Just a car. It takes people from one place to another, like any other. Only, more comfortably." From the driver's seat, Carlos glanced at them in the mirror. "To Ocean One, boss?" "Yes, Carlos. And please, take it slow. I want Sophia to see the project with calm eyes." As the car glided down the A1A, the view outside was a study in contrast, the infinite blue of the Atlantic on one side, the glittering towers of Miami Beach on the other. Sophia watched with eyes that seemed to see beneath surfaces. "Will she be all right?" she asked finally, no need to name who. Lucas sighed, turning to the window. "Camila? Probably not. But not because of me. She will struggle because she finally saw who she really is. And that vision hurts more than public shame." Back in Sabor Cubano, Camila stood frozen like a marble statue someone forgot to remove after an exhibit. Her face was pale, her hands trembled, and her eyes fixed on the door Lucas had passed through, as if waiting for a cruel joke to reverse itself. Marcos had already vanished. The ex-athlete knew there was nothing to gain by staying at the scene of a social crime. Other patrons quietly returned to their meals, but the traded glances and hushed whispers made clear this story would be told for years. Gabriel approached with a neutral expression. "Miss Vanderbilt? Your wallet." He held out the small leather clutch she had claimed to forget. Camila took it with mechanical movements, her fingers finding the familiar object without truly feeling it. Is he really the owner of this place?" she asked, her voice a cracked whisper. Gabriel nodded. "Mr. Mendez bought the restaurant 2 years ago. He said he wanted to preserve a piece of the real Miami, not the postcard version. He comes at least once a week, always alone. Until today." The information hit Camila like a punch. All the times Lucas had said he had business meetings downtown, all the nights he came home smelling of garlic and cumin, he had been here, in the real world, while she lived inside her bubble. Why did he not tell me? She murmured, more to herself than to Gabriel. The owner looked at her with a mix of pity and reproach. Maybe he wanted to know if you would love him without all this. He gestured not only to the restaurant, but to the entire world of wealth Lucas represented. Inside the Rolls-Royce, Lucas and Sophia had begun a conversation that felt real, the first Lucas had had in months that was not about appearances or transactions. So you want to open a community center? Lucas said, genuinely engaged. What kind of programs? Sophia brightened when she spoke of her mission. Mostly educational support for children of immigrants. Tutoring, college guidance, mentorship. Many parents work so much they cannot help with homework, and the public schools here, well, you know. Lucas watched her as she spoke, eyes alight, hands animated, a conviction totally absent from the glossy conversations he was used to. It was refreshing. It was real. And how will you fund it? He asked, not as a test but as someone who truly wanted to help. She winced. That is the problem. I have saved for years, but it is slow. I thought about starting small, maybe Saturday classes at the public library. One step at a time. Carlos's voice came softly over the intercom. Arriving at Ocean One, boss. The building rose ahead, a glass and steel tower of 50 stories reflecting the afternoon sun like a giant diamond. Imposing, modern, and a world away from Sabor Cubano's modest charm. Sophia stared up, wide-eyed. Wow. It is big. Lucas smiled. It is only concrete and glass. Sophia. What matters is what happens inside. And that is where I hope you can help. Inside the monumental lobby. Italian marble, abstract sculptures, discreet security. Lucas felt something he had not felt in a long time. Hope. Not the empty hope of more wealth or status, but the real hope of making a difference, of connecting with someone authentic, of building something that mattered. And at Sabor Cubano, Camila finally moved. She walked back to the table where she had sat with Lucas hours earlier, back when she believed he was a broke man she could discard, and sank into the same chair. Same chairs, same table, same restaurant. But everything was different now. She took out her phone, the same one she used to post pictures of her perfect life, and stared at the blank screen. No messages from Marcos. No concerned friends. Only the deafening silence of someone who has just learned that in the economy of character, she is completely bankrupt. And for the first time in years, Camila Vanderbilt wept, not the performative tears that got her what she wanted, but real, bitter tears of someone finally seeing the hollow person she had become. Meanwhile, in the Ocean One penthouse, Lucas showed Sophia the plans for the building's community spaces. I want a place where real people can connect, not another status symbol, he said, eyes alive with genuine enthusiasm. Sophia looked at him, then at the plans, then back at him. You are not what I expected, she admitted. You are better. And in that moment, in rooms separated by a few blocks but worlds apart, two people discovered essential truths, one that hurt, one that healed. And Miami, with all its glitter and gloss, bore witness to the beginning of a story that would prove true luxury has never been for sale, only available to those with enough character to deserve it. While Camila tried to rebuild a life from the rubble of her own arrogance, Lucas and Sophia learned that the most valuable bonds are not made of gold or diamonds, but of trust, respect, and the courage to be authentic in a world of appearances. The weeks after the reveal at Sabor Cubano brought profound change for everyone. For Lucas, it felt like rediscovering a part of himself he had nearly forgotten beneath layers of success and corporate responsibility. For Sophia, it was a chance to see that wealth and integrity were not mutually exclusive, that some people use power not to show off, but to lift others. They began meeting regularly, not at expensive restaurants or glamorous events, but in real places where real lives unfold. Lucas took Sophia through the neighborhoods where he grew up, showing the streets where his parents had built a life from nothing. She introduced him to the vibrant immigrant community in Little Havana, where success is measured not in dollars but in families kept whole and dreams made real. One afternoon, they sat on a bench in Bayfront Park, watching cruise ships edge into the port of Miami. The late light painted the sky in orange and pink, and the breeze carried the smell of the sea mixed with the aromas of nearby food trucks. "Do you know what is most ironic?" Lucas asked, breaking their easy silence. "I spent years trying to prove I was successful, that I had arrived. But only when I stopped trying to prove anything did I finally feel truly successful." Sophia smiled, her eyes holding the colors of sunset. "My parents always say real wealth is the peace to sleep at night. From what you told me about Camila, she probably has not slept well lately." The mention of Camila did not sting Lucas. It felt almost academic, like studying a failed case study. Through mutual friends he had heard she was trying to reinvent herself as a social causes influencer, but no one was buying it. Credibility, once lost, is almost impossible to reclaim. "She called me last week," Lucas said, surprising himself. "She wanted to apologize. Said she had learned her lesson." Sophia studied him. "And what did you say?" "I said apologies are like checks, they only clear if you have moral funds to cover them. And that she needs to rebuild her character before any apology means anything." Sophia nodded. "Sometimes people want forgiveness without the work of changing. It is like wanting the cure without the pain of recovery." At Ecotech Solutions, something extraordinary was happening. Lucas began implementing changes that reflected his personal shift. He created an internship program for students from underserved communities, forged partnerships with local nonprofits, and redirected part of the marketing budget to community initiatives. His executives were skeptical at first. "Lucas, this will impact short-term profits," his chief financial officer warned in a meeting. Lucas looked around the boardroom, men in expensive suits, all with degrees from elite universities. "And so what?" he said, calm and firm. "What good are record profits if we are feeding the same system that almost cost me my humanity? I want Ecotech remembered not just for our technology, but for our impact." The change was gradual but palpable. Employees who once viewed Lucas as a distant, numbers-only boss began noticing him on the lower floors more often, genuinely interested in their stories, willing to hear ideas that did not come from pricey consultants. One afternoon, Lucas took Sophia to visit Ecotech's offices. She watched with bright attention as he explained how their sustainable energy technology was being adapted for low-income communities. "We are building a system that can cut energy bills by up to 40% for the families who need it most," he said, eyes shining with a passion she had never seen when he talked about profits or acquisitions. Sophia touched his arm lightly. That is it, Lucas. That is what matters. Not how many zeros are in your bank account, but how many lives you are improving. Something shifted between them in that moment. The touch was brief but meaningful. Two people no longer meeting as the billionaire and the waitress, but as Lucas and Sophia, two human beings who had found something rare and precious in a shallow world. Later, on the Ocean One terrace overlooking Biscayne Bay, Lucas did something unplanned. Sophia, he began, a little unsure. I would like to fund your community center. Not as charity, but as a partner. You have the vision. I have the resources. Together, we can do something extraordinary. She looked at him, eyes bright with tears. Lucas, you do not have to. I want to, he said gently. Not for you, but for me. Because I finally understand that real legacy is not in what we accumulate, but in what we share. I want my legacy to include helping someone with your integrity and compassion bring a dream to life. As they spoke, in a modest Coral Gables apartment, Camila watched a live stream of Lucas and Sophia announcing Ecotech's new community initiative. She saw the way they looked at each other, not with performative passion, but with deep respect and a grounded connection. For a moment bitterness rose, but she pushed it away. What she felt instead came close to gratitude. Gratitude for being forced to confront the emptiness she had become. Gratitude for the painful, humiliating chance to rebuild from nothing. She ended the stream and stared at her reflection in the dark phone screen. The face was still beautiful, still young, but the eyes were empty. Like the luxury home she still rented, lovely outside, hollow within. Meanwhile, Lucas and Sophia kept working, learning that the best partnerships are not based on what each can take, but on what each can give. And that the most valuable love is not bought with expensive gifts or luxury trips, but built from honest moments, meaningful conversations, and the courage to be vulnerable. And Miami, with all its obsession over appearances and status, witnessed a quiet revolution, the proof that true luxury has never been found in designer boutiques or exotic car showrooms, but is free to anyone brave enough to look where they least expect it, within themselves. 1 year later, as autumn painted Miami with its most vivid colors, the seeds planted on that fateful day at Sabor Cubano had bloomed into a garden of transformations, some beautiful, some painful, all necessary to prove that true worth has never been for sale, only available to those willing to pay the price of authenticity. The Sofia Ramirez Community Center in Little Havana was anything but luxurious, yet it overflowed with a wealth no money could buy. The walls were covered in children's colorful drawings, shelves brimmed with donated books, and the air carried the mingled sounds of laughter, lively Spanish and English, and the comforting aroma of fresh coffee and homemade pastries. At the official opening, Lucas watched Sophia cut the ribbon, not alone, but surrounded by the very children the center now served. Her face radiated a happiness so genuine it seemed to light the entire block. She wore no designer dress or expensive jewelry, just simple jeans and a t-shirt with the center's logo, but she had never looked more beautiful. This place is not about me, she told the small crowd, her voice thick with feeling. It is about giving the children of this community the same opportunities all children deserve. It is about showing that their dreams matter, no matter where they come from. Pride rose in Lucas so strongly it nearly choked him. He had funded the center, yes, but the vision, the passion, the soul, those were all Sophia. Over the past 12 months, he had watched her transform not only her own life, but the lives of dozens of families with a grace and resolve he had never seen in any boardroom. After the ceremony, as volunteers served refreshments and cakes baked by mothers from the neighborhood, Sophia slipped to Lucas's side. "Thank you," she whispered, eyes shining. "For believing in me. For believing in them." He took her hand, a simple gesture that had become second nature. "I only provided resources. Sophia, you provided the heart. And the heart is always worth more." Across town, in a very different scene, Camila Vanderbilt sat in a modest Wynwood cafe, revising her resume on a laptop. The Bal Harbour apartment was gone, along with the designer wardrobe and the social circle of friends who vanished with her perceived status. She had found work as an assistant at a small marketing agency, humble, but honest. For the first time in years, she was earning her own money, not living on inheritance or convenient relationships. To her surprise, she was discovering a satisfaction in hard work she had never found in luxury shopping. Her eyes drifted to a news story about the community center's opening. She saw photos of Lucas and Sophia together, not posing for cameras, but fully engaged with children, their smiles real, their connection palpable even through a screen. For an instant, bitterness tried to surface, but she let it go. Instead, she felt something like gratitude. Gratitude for being forced to see the hollow self she had become. Gratitude for the chance, painful, humiliating, but necessary, to rebuild from the ground up. She closed the laptop and looked around the cafe, real people living real lives, free from the relentless pressure to impress. And for the first time, she felt that maybe, just maybe, she could find her place in that real world too. Back at the community center, Lucas and Sophia slipped into the small garden behind the building, where children's laughter drifted softly from a distance. "Are you already thinking about expansion?" Lucas asked, watching her water the medicinal plants they had planted together. Sophia smiled. "One step at a time. I want to do this right, not fast. Communities need consistency, not grand gestures." He studied her, so certain of who she was, so clear about what mattered. He realized that over 12 months she had taught him more about genuine success than all his degrees and consultants combined. "You know," he began, a little unsure, "I have been thinking about the future. About us." She set the watering can down and faced him, eyes serious but gentle. "What have you been thinking?" "That I do not want another life of appearances. I do not want another relationship built on transactions. I want this." He gestured to the garden, the center, everything they had built together. "I want authenticity. I want purpose. I want you." Sophia stepped closer. "Lucas, you know I am not with you for your money, right? I am with you for who you are when you stop trying to prove anything." He smiled, a true, easy smile unlike any he had worn in years. "I know. And that is why I love you. Because you see me, not my bank account." The words hung between them, not as a grand declaration, but as a simple truth both had known for months. "I love you too," she said, soft and sure. "Because you became the person who was always there beneath all the layers of success and responsibility." They did not kiss, not then. The kiss would come later, in private, when they were alone. Some things are too precious to share with the world. Some connections are too genuine to be performed. As the sun dipped over Miami, painting the sky in the same golds and pinks as that Bayfront Park evening a year before, Lucas understood something fundamental about life. That true luxury is not what you own, but what you give. That true wealth is not in a bank account, but in your character. That the most valuable love is never bought, but built. And that the richest people are not those with the most zeros on their statements, but those with the most meaning in their lives. Sabor Cubano still stands, still serves its simple, delicious meals, still offers refuge from superficial Miami. Gabriel remains the owner, but now Lucas is a regular, not the anonymous proprietor, just Lucas, who comes for the Wednesday leche asado and the meaningful conversations with Sofia. And sometimes, very rarely, Camila appears too, alone, seated at a corner table, eating quietly as she reflects on how far she has come from the arrogant person she once was. Because Miami, with all its shine and ostentation, finally learned something through the story of Lucas, Sofia, and Camila. Money can buy luxury cars, ocean view apartments, and dinners at five-star restaurants. But character, dignity, genuine love, and purpose, those are the only things that truly matter. They are available to everyone, rich or poor, as long as they are willing to pay the one price that matters, the price of authenticity. And that, in the end, is the only luxury truly out of reach for those who choose appearances over substance. The only treasure no amount of money can buy. The only wealth that truly counts.